Hello, dear students. Hope you all are doing fine at your home. One thing I would like to say to you people that we have done first chapter, that is Internet Basics. All right, but at that time the course was not available to us, so I have taken that chapter from my personal book. But now the course has come, and the book, that is Cyber Beans, contains the same chapter, that is Internet Basics, as lesson number 1. So I would not going to explain this chapter again because the content is same, but I will provide you with the notes of this first chapter. It means the notes I will provide you of this Cyber Beans first chapter again. All right, so now in this session I am going to start with lesson number 2. Along with this I am going to give you with the notes of lesson number 1 also from this book only. All right, so there is no need to learn, or there is no need to prepare the notes that I have given you earlier. All right, so this I want to say to you people that now we are going to follow this Cyber Beans for the rest of the session, and from this Cyber Beans only, from the first chapter, I will provide you with the notes. And now I'm starting with lesson number 2, and together I will provide you with the notes of lesson number 1 and 2. All right, so let's begin with the chapter. Okay, the name of the second chapter is Internet Services. In the first chapter we have learned about Internet Basics, means the basics terms related to Internet. Now we are going to discuss the services that is provided by Internet. So with the advancement in technology, the most traditional communication media such as telephone and television are being reshaped and redefined by the Internet. The Internet has enabled and enhanced various forms of human interactions like instant messaging, emails, Internet forums, Internet chatting, and so on. Another feature, online shopping, has given a boost to major outlets and small traders alike. E-business and financial services have added more features in the cap of the Internet. These software-based services, which are offered by an electronic device to another device communicating with each other via World Wide Web, are called Internet services. Let us discuss these services in detail. The information retrieval. Information retrieval means to retrieve or to fetch the information from a particular browser, or we can say from a particular source. Using the Internet, we can access any information as and when required. From this we need a web browser to retrieve the data. A web browser is a software application that allows you to visit various websites on the Internet. Some of the web browsers are Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, and so on. To visit any site, we need to type in the address or URL of the particular website in the address bar of our browser. The browser contacts the web server and requests the information. The web browser sends the required information back to the web browser. To display the web page, the web browser downloads a copy of a home page of the site on our computer. This way you can explore all the sites on the web. So some links to the interesting educational websites are given below: edx.org, khanacademy.org, and so on. One of the major services provided by Internet is email. Email, as I know, it is familiar to you people that email stands for electronic mail, or we can say it's a kind of messaging over Internet, electronic messaging over Internet. It is a cost-effective and eco-friendly form of communication, and it saves paper as well as postage cost. Email account. You people must be having your email accounts on Gmail and any other social site like Yahoo Mail, and so many email account sites are there. So I hope this term is clear to you. What is email account? As the ordinary mail is delivered to its destination with the help of the address mentioned on it. Likewise, an email is delivered to its destined email account with the help of mentioned email address. Electronic mail account is an electronic mailbox on a network where emails can be sent and received. Email address. Email address is a name that uniquely identifies an email account on a network. For example, suppose I am having an email address as smiraj110@gmail.com. So this identifies my email account on a network. To send and receive mails, we need to have an email address. While sending an email, we enter the email address or the recipient so that the computer knows where to send it. Now, components of email: username, domain extension. These are all the components of email account. So username, it is the name of a person's account, which can be actual name, a word, or a phrase. Domain name, it is a location of the person's account on the Internet. Domain name is actually like gmail.com, in which Gmail will be a domain. Suppose yahoo.com, in which in this Yahoo will be a domain name. And domain extension, the domain name and domain extension are complementary with each other. Suppose I am writing gmail.com, so Gmail will be domain name and .com will be domain extension. So there are many websites on the internet which provide free email facility, for example www.yahoo.com, gmail.com and rediffmail.com. Now let's discuss email services. There are two types of email services as specified below: web-based email and application or client-based email. Web-based email can be accessed by the users across the globe for any computer connected to the internet at any time. That means web-based emails can be accessed by any person around the globe. Anyone who is connected to the internet can access these web-based email. Some of the well-known free web-based email services are Gmail, Yahoo and MSN. Application and client-based email. Application or client-based means you need to install a program on your computer to read the email. Some of the examples of email-based, that means here is a compulsion or here is a foundation that only the person who is having the particular program installed on the computer can see the email that is sent on its computer. So some of the examples of application based email programs are Outlook Express, Mozilla Thunderbird and Foxmail. As we all know, for emails that certain information is required, and these information include username, password, email address, POP3 server address and SMTP server address. Username is familiar to you people, password you people you know, and it is necessary to create a strong password because in the field of technology, cyber crimes are too much prevailing, so it is necessary to protect your account with a strong password so that no unauthorized user can access your account. Email address, a valid email address will look like they have given kips@kipssupport.com. Now POP3 server address, it is the address one should configure to get the incoming mail. POP3 Post Office Protocol version 3 is a very common internet email protocol for retrieving emails from a remote web servers using a local client. SMTP server address, it is the address one should configure to send an outgoing mail. So the difference between POP3 and SMTP server address is POP3 server address is should be configured to set the incoming mail, and SMTP is to configure to send outgoing mail. Now how to create an email account. So these are the certain steps that are telling you to how to create an email account on Gmail. First of all, connect to the internet. Open any internet browser. That browser will display the page as shown in the figure. Click on the create account option. This sign up will appear as shown. Enter your first name and the last name. Type your desired username. Choose a strong password. Retype your password. Retype your password in the confirm box and the next button. Click on the next button. Enter your phone number. Click on the next button. The privacy and terms will appear. Just put a tick on that I agree option. A welcome screen appears and click on the next button. I hope these steps are clear to you people, because many of you are having your Gmail accounts and you have created that accounts yourselves. So these are those steps that are including in creating any Gmail account. Now viewing received emails. How to view a received email. After creating an email account in Gmail, you can see it to send and receive email. All the received emails are contained in inbox as the messages are coming in the inbox. Similarly, emails are coming in email inbox. Remember to use the email account anytime. You must log in your email ID, username and password. Now let's discuss the structure of an email message. First of all, we have to write from. That means the field contains the email address of the sender of the mail. That means it decides where the email is coming. 2. You need to enter the recipient address to whom you have to send the email. CC. When sending a message to multiple recipients, use the CC carbon copy field. BCC. It is used to send a copy to the email to several recipients. Subject line. The subject line is a part of your email that is the recipient will see. While entering the subject line, be sure to include important information which depicts what the email is about. Body. The body is a message area where you actually write the message that you want to send. And attach files. It is used to add attachments like files, audio, video, etc. in your email. So these are the structure of an email message. Now let us learn how to compose an email or how to create an email. To write a new email, click on the compose button or a plus sign on the upper left corner of your Gmail window. A new message window appears as shown. Write the email address of the recipient to whom you want to send the email. Write the subject of your email in the subject box. If you want to send the same email to various people, you can use one of the options available in Gmail to CC, BCC, and write the message in the message area. You can attach various files such as document, images, and links. I am not taking these topics in detail because these are common topics. You people must be knowing about this. Now, to send an email, once you have composed an email, click on the send button present at the bottom of the new message. As soon as you click on the send button, the message will be sent to, or the email will be sent to the receiver. Now, replying and forwarding emails. To reply an email, follow these steps. Click on the email that you want to open. Clicking it on will open the email message window. You will find reply all, and forward options right below the message. If you want to forward, and if you want to forward the message, you just click on the forward button. If you want to reply for the message, you can click on the reply button. How to attach a file in an email. Email provides a facility to attach files for high-speed delivery to any corner of the world. Click on the attach files icon. The open dialog box will appear. Browse through your computer to select the desired file, and here you will find the other options like insert link, insert emoji, insert files, and turn confidential mode on and off. Always remember, you cannot send executable files larger than 25 MB as attachments. Now, here is the difference between a spam and a junk mail. Spam can arise in form other than email, such as text messages or via social networks. Junk mail is always in the form of an email. Spam mail often comes from websites which require your email address because you have signed on to them to avail their services or browse through their content. Junk mails come from unknown sites. Spam may even contain mails from some known contacts, whereas junk mail comes from completely unknown sources. Now let's discuss search engines. Search engine is an application that helps a user in finding information or documents on the vast sea of knowledge that is the internet. One of the major or one of the most common search engine we are using is Google. Yes, Google is a search engine. We have millions of web pages on the internet containing a lot of information. Searching the desired web page and finding the exact information is not an easy task. In this kind of situation, search engines play a significant role. All we have to do is enter some keywords in search engine and it will provide you the list of relevant web pages. For example, whenever we want to search anything on the Google, we just type a word in the Google and the Google will show the complete information about that particular topic. Alright, this is also familiar with you people. You have done it many times. How to use a search engine? What you have to do, first of all, visit the search engine. Suppose if you want to open search into Google, to open Google, then conduct the search, type anything you want to search in the Google, then view the search results. There are certain search engines addresses are Alta Vista, Bing, Google, and Yahoo. Nowadays we people are using Google at a very large extent. Here they have given a simple small diagram which is showing how a search engine works. Just go through this diagram. Search engines are the unique entities to retrieve information on any topic. Have you ever thought as to how search engines provide SEO matching results in predefined order? Let us perform a simple Google search and understand this concept. For example, let us search something about our country, India. Type India in the search bar and press the enter key. You will find a new screen with the results matching to your query. Next is Spider and Web Crawler. The search engines use extremely efficient software called Spider or Web Scroller. The spiders continuously crawl on the web to comb out any newly published web documents or newsletters and find their web address. As soon as a user enters a keyword in a search engine, these spiders crawl from one server to another in a matter of microseconds to compile a massive list of matching results of URLs. And with the blink of an eye, the results appear before us. Indexing software. The next step involves the indexing of all the search results. The spider sends the list of documents and their web address to the indexing software, which extracts information from them and prepares an index at the time. Search algorithm. Whenever we perform a search by entering a keyword, the search engine searches an index database using a sequential method called the search algorithm. Now, search engine tips. Some tips to optimize your search engine results are listed below. You just go through these tips yourself. Finding people on internet. First, such sites help people in locating an individual email address, contact number, location, or date of birth when one does not have access to phone or directories. The resource information of these web-based directories is from yellow pages and white pages or added to the directories database by the individual themselves. Search for searching people on www.pipl.com. Just try this URL in your browser. All right, other websites that can use for searching people on the internet are truepeoplesearch.com, classmates.com, findpeoplesearch.com, ancestry.com, pq.com, and address.com. Now we will discuss FTP protocol. FTP means file transfer protocol. That means it is a set of rules that are necessary to transfer a file from one place to another. So let us discuss that. File transfer protocol is a standard internet protocol for exchanging files between two or more computers on the internet over TCP/IP protocols. FTP uses TCP/IP protocols. TCP/IP means transmission control protocol and internet protocol to upload or download files to our computers from other sources. FTP transfer involves two computers, one acts as a server and other is as a client. FTP server. The FTP server is a computer that has an FTP address just like an HTTP website. It is an important component in FTP architecture that initiates a client request for an FTP connection from other computers. FTP client. The FTP client works on client server architecture. We have done it earlier also. An FTP client initiates a request to the FTP server for connection using the FTP protocol. Actually, this file transmission protocol works as a client server technique in which we request some information or we send a file to a particular person, and this file is traced by a TCP/IP protocol, and this TCP/IP protocol transfer this file to the client, and the client get that particular file over the internet. There are other file transfer protocols such as Secure Socket Shell, Secure Copy Protocol, Secure File Transfer Protocol, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and Post Office Protocol version 3. SSH, Secure Socket Shell Protocol. Data protection is an integral part of any network system. In a client-server architecture, SSH protocol is known as Secure Socket Shell Protocol. It is predominantly used for securing data over an insecure network. Importance of SSH protocol. Before transferring data between the client and the host computer, SSH calls upon the SFTP to authenticate both the server and the client machine. That means the main purpose of SSH protocol is to create a security data over an internet. That means it allows a proper security before transferring any information to the client. SCP, Secure Copy Protocol. In a network, protocols play a significant role in transferring data and in maintaining the confidentiality of data. So, Secure Copy is one such protocol that helps in moving files to connected machines over a network in an encrypted form. That means SCP, Secure Copy Protocol transfer the files over network in a encrypted form. Encrypted form means in a hidden form in order to maintain its confidentiality. SFTP. Both SFTP and SFTP allow files and data transfer over a secure network. In spite of this similarity, the SFTP stands apart from the FTP in terms of data security. The FTP sends data and commands over a network in text form. Even important credentials like username and password are sent in text form. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol is the most common protocol used for transferring emails between two or more servers. POP3, Post Office Protocol version 3. POP3 is another commonly used email protocol. It helps to retrieve emails from remote web server using a local client. All POP3 mail servers have a unique address provided by the email service providers. This is all theory section, students. You have to go through this theory in detail. All right, because it's not possible for me to make each and every word clear to you unless or until you will get go through the chapter yourself. All right, so it is necessary to go through this chapter yourself, then only you will able to understand the theory section of this chapter. Now discuss a term telnet. Just like HTTP and TCP/IP, telnet is a protocol that is used for accessing a remote computer. A network may consist of different networks composed of multiple computers using a different kind of hardware and operating systems. Connection to these different kinds of computers may require a common platform. Telnet, with its built-in command structure, provides easy access to remote host computers. It allows the users to log in on the remote computer system using the correct login and sign-in credentials. The Telnet programs give you a character-based terminal window on another system. The steps to connect Telnet using Windows 7 has been given. You just go through these steps yourself and try to initiate these steps at your home. Now let's discuss some web services that is provided by Internet. Internet provides us a host of web services that allows us to perform our day-to-day tasks with much flexibility. Some are explained. One of the major web services, chat is an online conversation and it is more personalized. I hope you know much more about chatting than me, because you people are involved in online chatting nowadays, and a chat room is a part of an online service in which you can converse with people different categories. All right, so chatting is clear to people. Types of chats: there are certain type of chat. One is instant messaging and one is IRC, internet relay chat. Instant messaging is like a private chat from room where both the users must be online at the same time. IRC, internet relay chat allows people to communicate with each other in real time through text based messages. Unlike older chat systems, IRC is not limited to just two participants. Another web services are video conferencing. Video conferencing can be considered as a phone call with pictures that allows multiple people sitting at geographically different locations. Another feature or another web services that is provided to us is e-learning. E-learning means electronic learning. That this is what we are doing nowadays. That is, we are learning over the internet with the help of we can say online classes. E-banking or internet banking is another web feature that is provided to us. E-banking stands for electronic banking. It is a way of performing bank transactions using the internet. This type of internet banking we people are doing nowadays, because in the days of lockdown it is not possible for us to go for two banks daily. So we are performing this e-banking, or we can say it's online banking transactions nowadays. So this type of electronic banking is very much common nowadays. All right, PC banking is a type of banking where a person uses a personal computer to access banking information. It requires a secure internet connection and a personal financial management software such as Quicken, Microsoft Money, etc. Mobile banking refers to making financial transaction using a mobile device like a smartphone, tablet, etc. The transactions may range from monitoring account balance to paying bills and transferring funds. SMS messaging, mobile banking applicants are the three ways in which mobile banking operates. E-shopping, this is the most important or the most common point that we must know about e-shopping. That is, online shopping people are doing at a very high rate nowadays, because e-shopping or online shopping has changed had been a change in the revolution of you can say shopping. Sites for online shopping, there are certain sites of online shopping: Myntra, Flipkart, Snapdeal, and so many. E-reservation, that means e-reservation means making a reservation or appointment for a service via the internet. Using email reservation, we can only check the availability of seats in bus, train, or aircraft, but also we can receive rooms, meeting halls, or tables in restaurants and hotels. Application areas of e-reservations are hotel reservation, tickets, travel tickets reservation, movie tickets reservation, event reservation, and sports and message reservations. Reservation process. Popular websites that provide reservation facilities are www.irctc.coin, makemytrip.com, bookmyshow.com, etc. You need to require an internet connection, online payment facility, register to create an account on the website, and just if available, click on book now. E-governance stands for electronic governance. It refers to the integration of information and communication technology (ICT) in government processes, services, and communication. It helps the government to improve the efficiency of service delivery and exchange of information. thus strengthening democracy. The interaction between various entities of the system is required to implement these services. These interactions can be between government to citizen, government to business, or government to government. Major e-governance services in India are Unique Identification Authority of India, Consulate Passport Visa Division, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, and National Portal of India, and so many are services that is provided by e-governance to us. Just go through with these services that is provided by e-governance. Digital India Movement. Digital India is an initiative launched by the Government of India on 1 July 2015 by the Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi. The version of Digital India is to bring India at par with the development nations in the field of technology and provide online services to the citizen. Services provided by Digital India include Aadhaar, DigiLocker, Bharat Bill Payment System, EFPO, PMKVI, and so e-Panchayat Passport, and much more. CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education, and Indian Railway ticket booking. Some advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce, e-governance are given there. You just go through these with yourself. Now let's discuss e-groups. The internet is a fascinating feature where we can meet millions of people worldwide. But finding people of your interest is a difficult task. An e-group, electronic group, has been developed to solve this issue. It is a virtual meeting place for individuals who share the common interest. It provides a platform for people to share information on topics of their interest, message, and photo albums. Advantages of e-groups. E-groups are accessible anytime, anywhere. E-groups encourage generally shy people to share their views and idea about an event. There are no boundaries as to where the discussions are to be prolonged. Disadvantages are discussion in an e-group is not live. The participants of an e-group communicate through text-based messages. In an e-group, a message or a post is combined with all the replies to form a thread. Now the topic that is of your interest is social networking. The internet has contributed in making the world a much smaller place to live in. The communication over the internet, which started from bulletin boards and discussion forums, has now evolved to more interesting methods of social interaction, that is by using social networking sites. There are certain social networking sites. You people are also using these sites: Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Advantages of social networking is easier to contact, create new connections, free business promotions, aids in criminal cases, and spreads information incredibly fast. Apart from the advantages, there are certain disadvantages of social networking also. It involves cyberbullying, less real in life interaction, addiction, misleading information, misuse of information, and fake profiles. There are certain ethics in social networking. Right perspective. A user should be considerate enough while uploading a post, picture, or a video. Do not make false statements. Utilitarian perspective. A user should recognize and respond carefully to activities that are permitted by law. Fairness perspective. User should refrain themselves from inappropriate posts or comments. Virtue perspective. One should not indulge in anything that works against the welfare of society. Now let's discuss mobile technology. Internet and mobile technology media are gradually growing in popularity and have created a significant impact on our lives. We have become so dependent on mobile technology that today we feel handicapped without it. Some of the most popular mobile technologies are SMS, MMS, 3G, 4G, and 5G. SMS, short message services, or texting. It is a quick and convenient way to send short messages on mobile networks. MMS, or multimedia messaging services, is an upgrade in messaging services. Unlike SMS, used with the MMS, we can include multimedia content like pictures, audio, and video files. 3G, the G stands for generation of mobile technology. 3G is the third generation of wireless mobile technology. 4G refers to fourth generation of wireless communication, which is a successor to 2G and 3G family of standards. And 5G technology refers to fifth generation of wireless technology, which was started in late 2010 in various parts of the world. Carriers have launched the 5G technology, but in many countries it is yet to begin functioning. It is a complete wireless communication technology with almost no limitations, and it is highly supportable to www, wireless World Wide Web. So this is all about chapter number 2. This is quite a lengthy chapter and complete theoretical chapter. You have to go through this chapter yourself in a brief way, so as to understand services that is provided by the internet. So till here we are completing with our chapter 2. So I'm along with this I'm providing with you the notes of lesson number 1 also, and the notes of this lesson number 2 also. So you till then you just stay home and stay safe, and goodbye. Here are some solved questions including multiple choice questions. Fill in the blanks, true, false, one word sentences, and application based questions. You just go through these solved questions